Spot On is sponsored by the Wellbeing Project here at Boston University. This project is a new campus-wide initiative to support students' health and wellness during their time at the university. Log on to bu.edu to learn more about the Wellbeing Project. You are listening to Spot On, a health and wellness podcast that breaks through the latest media headlines to provide you with accurate and usable information that is, well, spot on to meet your needs. I am your host, Dr. Joan Salge Blake, a nutrition professor at Boston University and the author of the college textbook called Nutrition and You, which is used in colleges across the United States and abroad. This week on Spot On, we're going to talk about how thrifting is not only good for your wallet, but very good for the planet. Let's go to the street and find out what folks think about thrift shopping.
I think thrift shops are great for the environment because it allows people to buy used clothes, but I think that they can encourage hoarding.
I think thrifting is great and helps people find their style without having to spend a lot of money. I also think it's great for the environment because millions of pounds of textiles are wasted every year, and it definitely helps reduce a lot of waste.
I always buy new because thrift stores just slightly gross me out, and also I don't like the idea of wearing clothes or using something personal that somebody else has worn. I'd actually much rather buy something lower quality that's new than thrifting something that's higher quality.
Sometimes you can find really nice clothes that haven't been used that much for very low prices compared to at the stores. But also, sometimes you can find really cool vintage things.
If people thrifted even 1 or 2 items per year, they'd save so many resources that go into making new clothing. I don't actively thrift, but if someone else wants to go, then I'll go and I'll enjoy it and probably walk away with something I like.
I think that thrift shopping is pretty cool. You get to buy clothes that have been already used. It lessens the impact that the fashion industry has on the environment, and you can find really cool designer stuff for a lot cheaper than buying it new, and you just have to go to the right places.
If you really look when you're shopping, you can find stuff that's really good and fits your style and whatnot, and is also really, really cheap. People aren't going to notice a difference with what you're wearing. So I still enjoy thrifting from time to time.
Welcome to Spot On. Again, we have another episode here that I am totally excited about. We're going to be talking about thrifting, or the new word for thrifting is upcycling, which I think is even a more fabulous topic. And I have a very special guest today. Her name is Jessica Vuong, and she wrote an article on Fresh You about thrifting and the points that you should be looking at when you go thrifting and why you should be thrifting. Really exciting. So she is calling in from sunny California. So I'm green with envy already, Jessica. So welcome to Spot On.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. If you have any students out there that are interested in journalism, I highly suggest that they try to join Fresh You, because then they'll get to do what I did as a college student and write articles on college-related topics like in health or mental wellness or lifestyle or beauty, anything related to college, anything that they're interested in, they'll get good practice with their writing skills.
That is a fabulous idea. And you know what I'm going to do? We're going to put the link up to Fresh You on the Spot On Facebook page. So that's fabulous. When I saw this article, I said, oh, my goodness gracious, I'm totally going to get this woman to come on and talk about thrifting. And you gave me some backstory here that you went to the University of California, Davis, and they were known as a number 3 in the world for campus sustainability when it comes to this kind of thrifting. So can you, I'm like, wow, tell me what they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they had this on-campus thrift shop where they would sell donated clothes and DIY items and upcycled items. And I was also really interested in fashion, and most of what I know about thrifting and sustainable fashion I learned from trying out thrift shopping, looking at that on-campus thrift shop, and from reading fashion articles and watching fashion videos on YouTube. So I guess all of this together, along with attending the number 3 in the world known for campus sustainability, that college, all of this together piqued my interest in learning more about the positive environmental benefits of thrifting, both in-store and online.
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, when I read that, I was like, my goodness, I got to get a thrifting store here on the campus. So I'm going to work on that as soon as we hang up, because I think that would be
Awesome.
really exciting. So first of all, for people that may be not familiar with the term, what exactly is thrifting?
So thrifting is when you buy secondhand clothing or other goods at discounted prices, and the benefits of this is that it helps reduce the amount of clothing that ends up in landfills every year, because you're basically recycling clothing among people. And if you're into fashion, thrifting is a way better alternative than buying new clothes from a retail store, such as, the popular ones like Forever 21 or H&M, because these stores, they tend to put out new trendy styles of clothing every week or every month, and these trendy clothes only stay relevant for maybe a season, and then after that people are on to the next trend, and all these clothes are being thrown away to make room for the next batch of trendy clothes. And so clothes from these fast fashion retail stores are also inexpensive compared to something made from a sustainable fashion brand. So they're made from cheap synthetic materials, which will be hard to break down. And these materials also take a lot of energy to produce and to make. So thrifting is a great alternative if you're looking for clothes, if you're trying to explore fashion, but you also want to help the environment as well.
Right, and you can get other things at a thrift store. You can get, like, if you have a new apartment, you can get, like, pots and pans and cups and saucers and things like that, correct?
Yeah, exactly. They have pretty much everything you could want to find.
Wow. So it's really is so the clothes, somebody else has worn them, or maybe tossed them, or maybe bought them. And, I've done this. My hands up, I'm guilty as charged, where I bought something and the tag was still on it. And, like a year later I find it and I'm like, something, I don't even know why I bought this, but I'm going to toss it. And so, I mean, that's when you think about it, I'm tossing it into my garbage, and then it goes into a landfill. So, I had read that folks on average toss 80 pounds of clothing every year. And I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, the garbage can and the city landfills are very fashionable when we are, throwing away all these wonderful garments. And so this is, I never thought of it like that from a sustainability and from Mother Earth, this is not good to be just tossing out clothes.
Yeah, exactly. And these textiles, they also take a pretty long time to break down in landfills, because most clothing is made from non-biodegradable fabrics like polyester or spandex or nylon or rayon, and those may take around 20 up to 200 years to fully biodegrade in landfills.
And that's why I have you on, because that is mind-boggling statistic. And you're right. So we have landfill of all of these clothes, and this is just, we talk about recycling plastic and, glass and everything, but who ever thought that there's a real need to be recycling clothing or other household goods? And I also read that about half of the young adults, 18 to 37, are thrifting, and this age group or population is thrifting and adopting thrifting, 2.5 times faster than any other generation. So I think it's interesting, Jessica, because I was trying to think about, okay, how did this all come about that you would, want to wear somebody else's clothing? And I think it's really like a sustainability thing. But also, I said, hello, Airbnb, like 10 years ago, if you would have said to me, oh, you can stay in somebody else's home while you go to another city, I would have been like, what? I'm not staying in somebody else's home. You're going to be kidding me.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know the bathroom, when it was cleaned last time, or when they cleaned out the refrigerator. But now look at me. I'm like, hello, Airbnb. Everybody's doing it. So it's really kind of interesting that I can see why this thrifting and secondhand shops are booming. I had read that they're growing at the rate of 7% a year, because the people are so into this. And when you put it like that, and in this arena of where you live in other people's home when you're staying overnight in a new city, it really, really all makes sense. Can you tell me what, I love the term upcycling versus recycling, and tell me what the term is. Why do you think it's upcycling versus recycling?
So upcycling, what I've learned about it is that it involves buying a new item. I mean, it involves thrifting, but then you do something to that item to make it more personal to you. For example, if you buy a sweatshirt, you could crop it at the bottom and then make it like more fashionable and more trendy. So I think that's what upcycling is. It's when you put in some DIY elements to a piece of clothing it doesn't have to be clothing. It can actually be furniture.
Yes.
So, so when
like
you
painting
embellish,
it, like a paint of furniture. You get a piece of furniture and you paint. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So why do you think, Jessica, why all of a sudden has this upcycling and thrifting, why has this become so popular?
Well, I think nowadays we're all really aware of where our planet is headed, and we're all trying to save the planet, and thrifting is just one of the many ways you can do that. And of course, you can always buy brand new items from sustainable fashion brands like Everlane or Reformation, but the prices are pretty steep, and we are college students, so we don't want to break the bank because we're already paying for everything from tuition to textbooks to basically the air that you breathe on campus.
Right.
So for example,
Jessica, the air may be free. Okay, I'm not so sure you're paying for the air. But go ahead.
So a sweater would be around $100 on those sustainable fashion brands website because they're using ethical materials and ethical production processes to make it. So on the other side, thrifting is a way more affordable option, especially for college students.
Right.
And I guess thrifting and upcycling is also kind of a trend right now. I mean, I hope that it exposes people to the world of thrifting and it stays more than just a trend, but it is really trending right now. For example, on YouTube, there are plenty of videos of people doing thrift store challenges, like when they can only spend $20 at a thrift shop to create a whole outfit, or they're doing thrift flips where they alter pieces of clothing that they've thrifted to make it more fashionable and more trendy. And I think also with 80s and 90s clothing coming back in style, thrift shops are the perfect place to look for retro items like that because you can also find a lot of vintage style clothing or high-end branding clothing at a discounted price at thrift stores too.
80s and 90s. Well, I'm excited because I'm going up to my attic this weekend because I have a lot of clothing from the 80s and 90s, and I'm going to hopefully they still fit, and I could be a trendsetter here, and I can maybe I'll upcycle. We did a whole series with the Crazy Coupon Lady, which if you haven't listened to, you have to listen to it. It's fabulous how you can save money couponing. But I have to tell you, someone who loves to shop, the thrill of the hunt and the excitement of a good buy, getting something, especially because I've been in thrift stores and I've seen things with tags on them. I mean, the original tags, just like I said, where, I had it in the closet for a year and then I threw it away or donated it. And when I get a piece of clothing that is well made and a tag is still on it, like I'm the crazy person in the thrift store, like jumping up and down. It's just really, really exciting. And I have to tell you, I don't want to brag, but I'm going to do it Anyway, I'm going to tell you about my most fabulous thrifting story. And we have a Goodwill store here on campus at Boston University. And I was walking down the Commonwealth Avenue, and I see this woman get out of this van, and she's got these 2 velvet chairs that are that are beautiful. And I see her go into Goodwill. So then she comes out, and I see her getting 2 more beautiful velvet chairs and going in there. And I go in there, Jessica, and the tags are still on these chairs. Okay, so I took one look at this. This is like chairs, four chairs, blue. Look at I'm getting all excited here. I can't even tell you. So anyway, so I go to the woman in Goodwill and I said, "How much are these chairs?" And she said, she looks at them. She says, "All right, $9.99 each." So I'm like, okay. I said, okay. I'm like, all right, like being dramatic. I'll take all 4. Well, Jessica, I took those chairs out of that Goodwill and I went and took the tags off us and I went and I Googled it. Guess how much those chairs are worth? Brand new. Guess how much?
$200 each?
No, Jessica, $275 each.
Oh, my gosh.
Jessica, hello. So here I got $1,000 worth of furniture for $39.99. And you know something? All the Spot On listeners, I'm going to take a picture of these chairs and I'm putting it up on the Spot On Facebook page just so you can see these chairs. And everybody walks in my office and says these are gorgeous chairs. And then I flip it over and I show the tag and I go the whole story. And it takes like 20 minutes to do this. But anyway. There you go. But I mean, it is like, and things like that is like, oh my goodness gracious, how exciting. So the thrill of the hunt.
Are you having trouble sleeping, focusing, or relaxing? If the answer is yes, then the TM Softs White Noise Sleep Sounds podcast has got you covered. This hour-long podcast is made to help you get rid of distractions, reduce stress, relax, and most importantly, get better sleep. You can listen to sounds of nature, white noise, relaxing music, and much, much more. You can check out the TM Softs White Noise Sleep Sounds podcast on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
That blew my mind what you just said about how, depending on what the fabric was made up of, that it may not disintegrate or for years, and that is really unbelievable to me. So I think you're right. I think this sustainability thing, and I think as more people understand that the clothing is just piling on in landfills and it's not being nice to Mother Earth, I think the more that this is going to catch on. And what do you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. Sustainability obviously plays a huge role in thrifting. Less clothing in landfills because you're recycling clothing by reselling it. And instead of ending up in landfills, it gets to end up in someone else's closet, maybe several people's closet throughout the years as well.
You know, I read, Jessica, now that you said that the secondhand goods, the secondhand market is on track to make up a third of your closets by 2033. So this thing is booming, and
Wow.
which I'm excited about. It's really, really booming. And I also read that when it comes to clothing, people who donate clothing to thrift stores only wear it 1 to 5 times before they discard it. So it's and so when you think about it, these are practically brand new, and you're getting them as for like a fraction of the price. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So tell me about this thing I read about circular fashion. What is this circular fashion project?
So circular fashion is when clothing is made with the intention to circulate through society for as long as possible and then return into the biosphere when it's no longer of use. And the point of it is to reduce waste as much as possible while getting the most use out of a piece of clothing. So basically this means that clothing should be made from renewable, biodegradable materials using safe and ethical practices. And clothing should be designed with the intention of having a long life cycle so that it can be resold or made into new clothes. And you can extend the life cycle of clothes by either reselling them or renting them out.
Oh, like Rent the Runway.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, when you think about that, because, you know, you have to go to a fancy schmancy affair and, you know, who has got that kind of money, but you can rent a gorgeous, you know, piece of clothing to wear. And, you know, think about the bridal market. Not that I want you to get married tomorrow, but just think, I mean, just think how much that costs. And you talk about wear it once. Yeah, you only wear that white dress once. Well, maybe sometimes twice, depending on how many marriages you go into. But, you know, I mean, it's, and you think about all the money that went into that, and you're right, you know, to pass that on. I know every year here in Boston, a store here asks for people to donate prom dresses because there's a lot of people who can't afford prom dresses. And, you know, you have a prom dress hanging in your closet, donate it, and somebody else can wear it because just like the stats said, you only wore it once. So we're going to put on the Spot On a Facebook page this whole blurb about circular fashion so you can look at it on, you know, online and learn more information about it. But it's really being instrumental by some real spearheading people from the clothing industry, isn't it? Like some.
Yeah.
I think Stella McCarthy is behind it, or some other people. Yes.
Yeah.
So we got some big names doing some big name stuff. So to get people thrifting, I read that there is some popular online sites. So what is ThredUp?
Yeah, so ThredUp, I think, is the most popular online thrifting site right now. It's a consignment store. So you send the clothes that you no longer want to them. They photograph it and they sell it for you, and then you end up earning money from it when someone else buys it. Other online sites that are similar to ThredUp are Poshmark and Depop. And basically, you this is similar, except you have to sell the clothes yourself, and you take the photo yourself, and you ship it yourself. So if you don't want to do all of that, I think ThredUp would be an easier option.
Oh, it takes the middleman and it makes it easy for you to recycle or to give somebody the ability to upcycle. They send you a bag or something, and you put all the clothes and you mail it, and they do all the. Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah. Apart from like online thrift sites like ThredUp and Poshmark and Depop, most universities should have Facebook pages where you can sell your used items as well. Like I mentioned, I went to the University of California, Davis, and we have a Facebook page where students post their old clothing, their textbooks, and their household items on the page to sell. So it's great for people who are moving out or cleaning out their closets and they want to earn some money for it.
That makes sense because, you know, something, if you're a senior and you're selling, you know, you got the whole dorm stuff, right? And you're selling and a freshman's coming in, let's recycle this. And why are you going out and buying something if somebody's selling a mini refrigerator that goes into the dorm room? What the heck? Let's recycle it all. I just wanted I want to disclose, Jessica, I'm a little angry right now at my producer because when you said that about that many universities have a Facebook page where they can, you know, sell these things online, I'm signaling to her, like, do we have one of these at the Boston University? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, so when were you going to tell me that? I didn't know this. I mean, so that's really great. That is a really great, that basically, I love this because you as a young adult took it upon yourself, people who want to help with the environment, to do this rather than this being something guided by the university itself. So I love that. I'm going to go off and I'm going to go on the BU Facebook thrifting site and see what I can find and post pictures of it. There we go.
Yeah.
So for those that may not be really a thrifter yet, or I'm going to go over some of the tips that you gave in the article because if I think that some people that maybe haven't done this yet, what were some tips? So and again, Jessica wrote this article for Fresh University. It's called A Guide to Thrifting in College, which is just perfect. And you gave some very, very fabulous points. And the first one was have an idea of what you're looking for. And what do you mean by that?
So when you first walk into, for example, Goodwill or Savers or something, it's this huge room and it's just like racks from wall to wall filled with a bunch of clothing. And it's not like a retail store or a department store where they have one rack of all the same items. It's one rack of completely different items, like 100 different sweaters because these were all donated. So you need to have an idea of what you're looking for. Like, are you looking for jeans or are you looking for a sweater? Or are you looking for a T-shirt? Or are you just going to go through every single rack and spend 10 hours there? So you need to have some sort of idea of what you're looking for when you first head into the store.
Right. So and it kind of feeds into your second point was to have some patience here because you're not going to, you say, be patient about it. So what do you mean by that?
If you have the patience to go through every single rack, then that's amazing. But, when you shop for a really long time, everything starts to look kind of the same. You get tired. You don't really want to try on clothes anymore. So you need to have patience with when you're looking through all the things.
Right. When you said try on all the clothes, another point you said, which I thought was really good, you said show up in a simple outfit and try things on. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah, just show up in a plain T-shirt, jeans, easy shoes that are easy to slip on and off. Because when you have a plain palette, you can try on any funky piece of clothing you see, and then you'll have a nice plain palette in the background to see whether it'll match or not. If you show up in some crazy outfit, then it'll be very hard to know whether a piece of clothing will look good with the rest of your outfit or not.
Right. So go in like a black T-shirt, black pants, or white T-shirt, white pants. So it's like you said, like neutral. So when you put things on, you also
exactly.
You also said revisit the thrift store often. But what I love this. Grab some friends and turn thrifting into a weekly or bi-weekly trip so you can comb through all the new arrivals. I love that idea. Do you do that? Do you bring all your friends with you?
Occasionally, yeah. Sometimes it's easier to go alone if you really want to focus on finding something, but I think everything's just more fun when you have friends, and they can give you feedback on whether something is actually cute or is actually really ugly.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
It's because, you know something, if you buy it and only not to wear it, you're defeating the purpose here. Because then it's going to hang in your closet and you're just going to end up back recycling it or throw it away, which we don't want you to do. You also said something. You said, location. So location matters. So explain that to our listeners.
Thrift stores in more upper-class neighborhoods, they will tend to receive donations from people with more disposable income, which means that you'll be more likely to find better brand names there. But then the downside to this is that since those thrift stores are in the fancier neighborhoods, they will charge more money for those items. Mm-hmm. So there's kind of a pros and a cons to that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So just if you're looking for higher end items, maybe try those neighborhoods, but just keep in mind that it will be more expensive.
But that's interesting you say that, Jessica, because I found a online thrifting outlet or store called The Real Real. And these are all like luxury items, like Gucci and really high end Valentino. And the prices were like, whoa, there was some prices like they had a comma in it, like, $1,000. I'm like, whoa, I'm not thrifting with a comma. But when you think about it, if you're looking for that and you go to a high end neighborhood thrift store, you may be able to get those luxury items for much less than maybe an online second use store. So there you go. So you can check out the neighborhood first and then, do some research or some homework to see which price is compatible to it. So basically it sounds like, you want to talk about what listeners should do is to rethink about fashion and sustainability that, we used to, I didn't even put the two together, but they really have a real important, benefit together, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to be looking for fashion, or I should say, you want to be thinking about fashion and also thinking about sustainability. And so if you're only going to wear it once or twice, or even more than that, if it's in good condition, consider donating it to like a Goodwill or this Thread Up that we just talked about to keep it going, so somebody else could use it. And I guess don't get crazy over this. Don't get overwhelmed. So how can what's a baby step that someone can take if they're just putting their toe in the thrifting pond here?
Yeah, so I just want to say that fashion and sustainability do not have to be mutually exclusive. Mm-hmm. You can definitely explore fashion while also helping the planet. And the first baby step, I guess, is reading articles and watching videos and really educating yourself on the stuff we discussed today, like sustainability, circular fashion, thrifting, different sustainable brands, and where we're headed in the future, and the amount of waste that we're creating now. And then, just all of that together.
Right. So what we're going to do, Jessica, I'm going to put up the article that you wrote for sure, and we're also going to put links to those YouTube channels that you said that people are showing what they got for $20 or how to thrift, because I think that this is something that not only can save you a lot of money, but save the planet. And I'm not sure that everybody understands that. We're starting to get the message of food waste. Don't waste food. People are hungry. Don't throw it in the landfill. That's slowly coming out. But I'm telling you, I had no clue to put the sustainability with the fashion. So this is really, really eye-opening, and I'm so excited that we had this conversation and that you can come and provide these resources, and we will put up a picture of you. I hope what you have on was thrifted on the Facebook page, the Spot On Facebook page, and all your wonderful resources. And Jessica Vuong, I can't thank you enough for being on Spot On.
Thank you so much for having me. This was my first podcast. It was really fun.
Well, you are a pro, my dear. Spot On is sponsored by the Wellbeing Project here at Boston University. This project is a new campus-wide initiative to support students' health and wellness during their time at the university. Log on to bu.edu to learn more about the Wellbeing Project. Thank you for listening to Spot On. Please subscribe to Spot On your favorite podcast app for new episodes every week. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Joan Salge Blake. And also like our Spot On Facebook page and suggest topics for future episodes. And oh, by the way, could you ask 5 of your friends or family members to download Spot On and subscribe to it? Do I ask a lot from you?